Have you ever wanted to cover a song but don't know where to start? Today, I will be going over all the steps to making a cover, from creating your ideal setup to releasing your cover as a full-length music video on YouTube or even on other streaming platforms. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Hazumi. I've been a VTuber for over 4 years, and during this time, I have produced and organized over 50 solo covers, group covers, and even original songs. As someone who's been in the Western indie VTuber community since pretty much the birth of it, I want to use my platform and experience to help educate new and upcoming creators, or creators who are looking for a few tips through short-form and long-form educational content. In the time that I've been releasing covers and original songs, I have used over 3 different microphones, 2 different interfaces, 3 different environments, and 2 DAWs. None of my setups have been the most ideal or comfortable, but it is very easy to make do or compensate. There are different microphones that suit different voices. The type of microphone you use is also heavily affected by the environment you record in. There are 2 types of microphones: dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. Many say that dynamic microphones are better for activities such as streaming and podcasts, while people say condenser microphones are preferred for singing. However, I think it's best to think about the environment you are recording your vocals in. If your environment is not very soundproofed, with either furniture, carpeting, or soundproofing panels, then a dynamic microphone might be your optimal choice, as it'll pick up less sounds and reverb, but may cause your vocals to be a bit more muddy. If you're recording in a well-padded room, a closet, or even a makeshift recording booth, a condenser mic would be good to have, as it'll capture more vocal range and frequencies, but may also catch other unnecessary noises that will need more editing from your mixer. If your microphone comes with a USB cable, you can ignore this part. However, if your microphone comes with an XLR cable, you will also need to invest in an interface and possibly a cloud lifter for cleaner vocals if you're using a dynamic microphone. Since this isn't a video about equipment specifically, I'll just list out a few examples, such as the Focusrite Scarlett, any PreSonus Studio series, the Rodecaster Duo, or the Go XLR. I will say that the Go XLR and the Rodecaster Duo are both mixers on top of interfaces, which is why it is pretty good to have for streamers as well. I personally use the Rodecaster Duo for my streaming and vocal recording. It allows me to put on or take off any effects with ease. You would not believe the lengths people will go to make sure their rooms are in good condition to record vocals. I have seen friends makeshift a recording studio out of a small closet, or, like I've done when I recorded in a very reverby room, overheat myself by recording with a thick blanket over my head and microphone. However, if recording vocals is something that you plan to do frequently, I would invest in a standing isolation shield or even a portable recording booth. A DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. This is where you'll be recording your vocals and most likely several takes. I've used many different DAWs during my 4 years of making covers, but one that I've enjoyed the most is Reaper, and it's free. Free. If Reaper is a bit intimidating for you, other options are Audacity, Adobe Audition, FL Studio, or even GarageBand if you're on a Mac. However, I would say that the DAWs with the most beginner-friendly interfaces are Reaper or Audacity. Setting a timeline in order to properly manage deadlines and release your cover is super important. The way I like to manage my project timeline is almost exactly like the following: pick a song, commission an artist, record vocals, commission a mixer, commission a music video editor, and complete. I purposely commission things a little out of order because of the time it typically takes for these things to get finished, and what can be worked on without needing a finished product, such as a music video being worked on without a finished mix, or a final art piece. I have spent upwards of $600 or anywhere as low as $20 when producing a cover. I will explain the best ways to save money when making a cover, but please remember not to risk breaking the bank on making one. Trust me when I say there are definitely some covers that I had wished I did not spend a ton of money on when it could have gone to something else. For the purpose of this video, I am mostly going to be going over how to produce a fully original cover with a music video, but I'll briefly talk about good ways to save money when making a music video. When I'm trying to save money, I like to think about what parts of my cover take the most money. In my case, it is typically the art and music video animation that adds up to most of the cost in my covers. With this in mind, I have actually produced covers that were either drawn or, very occasionally, edited by me. If you're also someone without video editing experience, there are talented and generous people who have created amazingly priced templates of popular music videos, typically Vocaloid music videos such as Change, King, Yoidore Shirazu, and more. I'm not super experienced with motion graphic editing, so I try to stay away from creating videos that have too much text or camera movement. When I'm covering a popular Vocaloid producer song, I'll draw and then put my art in one of these templates. If you're looking to save even more money, I would suggest doing the following. Using your VTuber model, if you have one, to lip sync to your cover and record it in OBS. This takes minimal effort and minimal editing, perfect for those who want to quickly release covers. Many times you'll find covers that use the original music video and either 1. Put their VTuber model over it and blur the video in the back, 2. Use the original video by itself and have a custom thumbnail to fit your VTuber/OC, or 3. Simply use the original video and thumbnail. Make sure to check the copyright and distribution notices from the original artist. For example, many Vocaloid producers do allow this, but you would never be able to use an anime opening or ending video for your cover. Trust me, I've tried. But I can make a video on budget-friendly covers another time. If that's something you'd like to see though, please let me know in the comments below. Overall, if you're creating a fully original music video for your cover, I would suggest setting aside around $300 to $400 for your project, just in case. I always live by the idea that I'm creating these covers to be able to share a hobby that I enjoy and get to have my own take on the songs I love. However, there may be some times where you want to hop on a trend or a newly released song that is growing in popularity, and that's totally okay. There are a few different criteria for songs that I personally choose to sing. When I first started to be more frequent in my cover releases, I made it a priority to sing songs that fit my voice, whether it was pitching it down a key, covering a song whose original singer has a lower voice like mine. I think being comfortable as you start is one of the most important things to building your confidence and improvement with singing. Nowadays, I try to sing songs that may be a little bit out of my range, genres that I'm not usually comfortable with singing, such as soft or slow songs, and even try to sing stylistic songs. The last criteria would be when you want to use your vocals to grow your platform. While you may have to pay some rush fees or cut corners with creating original music videos, getting covers out while the song is relevant is very good for a little boost. Many tend to do this with newly released Vocaloid songs from well-known producers, new and popular songs covered in different languages, or even covering new anime openings or endings that are trending or releasing episodes still. I personally don't do these type of covers too much. However, I have definitely seen a rise in view count when I do, such as my Mephisto cover when Oshinoko was still airing. If this is your first cover and you're simply trying to be comfortable with the idea of creating a cover, then I highly suggest you choose a song that you personally enjoy and feel like can fit your range well. Before we get into the actual cover process, one thing you want to ask yourself is, will you be releasing this on just YouTube as an unmonetized video, or will you want to release this on platforms such as Spotify or Apple Music? If you do plan on releasing your cover to other platforms, you'll need to spend a little extra money to pay for a new instrumental arrangement to avoid copyright issues. And you will have to pay for a music distribution service such as DistroKid or TuneCore to send your cover to these platforms. Aside from a little extra money being spent, uploading a cover song to a music platform is way easier than you think. I personally like using DistroKid to distribute my cover songs onto different platforms because for a small annual fee, they'll secure a compulsory mechanical license on your behalf to make sure that you don't get into any legal trouble for selling digital copies of your cover song, i.e. iTunes. If you're using a different distributor, you will likely need to get a license yourself through a third-party company such as Harry Fox Agency. But as a lazy person, I would much rather pay $1 a month for the distributor to do all the work for me. With this, you won't have to worry about directly paying any royalties or have any copyright issues with the original artist, as the streaming platforms will handle the royalties as part of their agreement with different labels. But I am not a lawyer, I'm just a VTuber. So if you want to look into whether your cover is okay to be distributed or not, look through the original artist's copyright information or even through the distributor's FAQ. You will definitely find the answers you're looking for there. As previously mentioned, if you want to distribute your cover to streaming platforms, you will need an original instrumental arrangement. If you plan to release it only on YouTube, you likely won't need to commission an instrumental. On YouTube, there is a 99% chance that you won't be allowed to monetize your cover, so why spend the extra money trying? However, another reason you might want to commission an instrumental remake is to do a different arrangement of the original song. Slower versions, jazz versions, pop versions, lo-fi versions, metal versions, etc. Commissioning instrumental remake arrangements feels so much easier nowadays because there are a ton of resources to find audio engineers who are very affordable for those who enjoy doing covers as a hobby. Most of the instrumental remakes I've commissioned have been through people on Fiverr, VGen, or personal friends who make music. If you're covering a slower paced song, or think your cover would sound good with additional harms and ad-libs, it would absolutely not hurt to commission a harmony guide. These are definitely one of the more easier things to commission, and in some cases, with popular Vocaloid, anime, or pop songs, there might already be free to use or pay to use harmony guides out there. I am a firm believer that if you decide to go with the route of artificial harmonies, you should only do it with fast-paced or loud songs where they wouldn't be as noticeable. In my personal timeline, I like to commission artists before starting to record my vocals. I have found that the time it takes to record and get my vocals mixed lines up very well with many artists' timeline regarding deadlines. Since this video is made to focus more on the vocal and recording process of your original song, I won't go too in-depth with commissioning artists. Nowadays, there are many platforms where you can discover artists to commission that would be perfect for your song choice. VGen, Twitter, Skeb, Fiverr, etc. are all places you can look for artists. When I'm choosing an artist for a cover, I like to pay attention to an artist's style. If it is an original music video, I want to find someone whose style fits the genre, such as having an artist who typically renders in a soft, watercolor style for a slower song, or a heavy line pop-y style for a more EDM or rock genre. If you're remaking an already produced music video, I like to find someone whose style matches that of the original music video. Or sometimes in my case, I like to try and replicate the same style that the original music video uses when I draw my own music videos. Since I already talked about your recording environment and mic setup, this section will mostly be about the actual recording of your vocals. I will say everyone's DAW will look different when recording. This is not only because each DAW itself looks very different from one another, but also because it depends on how organized you want to be. Since I use Reaper to primarily record my vocals, I'll be using that as an example today. However, the basics for recording are pretty much the same for every DAW. I am definitely someone who is not organized with my vocals at all. While Reaper allows you to create multiple takes on one track, I like to separate each take by track, which tends to look like a big jumbled mess, but it works for me. When I'm looking for the take I like the most, I usually do it by a process of elimination where I will color code each track based on if I want to use it or not, and then so on and so forth. This may not be the most organized or, streamlined, but it works for me. While everyone's recording process may be different, there are still some best practices that should absolutely be used by everyone who is recording vocals. Those being, when you're recording your vocals, make sure to leave a spot in with about 5 seconds before and after your vocals in a track so that the mixer can use this to help cancel out any other background noise throughout your tracks. If your cover/original song has lines that overlap, make sure to put them on 2 separate tracks. What do I mean by overlapping lines? If there is a section of the song that sounds like there is barely any time between lines, it is likely artificially made so. Using an example from my original song, True, you can hear that these lines do not seem like they can easily be sung back to back. This is because they're not. By putting the lines on separate tracks, your mixer can help you achieve this without you worrying about running out of breath and makes the track easier to mix while giving you a clean sound. Similarly, I do not recommend singing the entirety of your song in one go. Usually it depends on the song that I'm singing. If the song is relatively fast-paced, I will typically record line by line or every 2 lines. If it's a slow song, then I feel more comfortable recording by verse, if there are no overlap in lines. Before you render and send your tracks over to a mixer, make sure to label them properly so that your mixer does not have a hard time trying to decipher which file is for what. You want to make your mixer's life as easy as possible. The way that I like to label my vocals is as follows: track description and track number. For example, main 1 is my main vocals, first track. Main 2 is main vocals, second track, for overlaps. Doubles 1 and 2 are doubles of your main vocals. Essentially, just singing your main vocals again. Doubles are great for songs that may require a more full sound. Harmonies 1 and 2, tracks for any harmonies you have recorded. This can be ignored if you opt in for artificial harmonies. Ad-libs 1 and 2, tracks for ad-libs in your song. Sounds like yeah, or vocal riffs that are in any of the backgrounds or choruses. Things like that. Rendering your tracks. Make sure you're rendering your files in a .wav format. This is the optimal format to have your vocals in for the best quality for your mixer. Please God, do not send them an MP3 of your vocals. Using Reaper's UI, I will explain how I export my vocals. Make sure the tracks you want to render are unmuted and selected. Go to File, Render, Select, Source, Selected Tracks with parentheses, stems. This ensures that you're only rendering the tracks that you've selected and nothing else. Next, when you click on bounds, this doesn't matter too much, but I typically choose time selection and select the length of the entire song. While it's not super necessary to choose time selection, I like to do it so I can ensure I am getting the exact time selection of the entire song without having any extra time at the end or beginning that isn't in the song. When clicking directory, the easiest way to organize this is by creating a folder that's named after the song you're singing. That way you can easily export it there. Typically, I'll go into the default music directory in Windows and then make a new folder there. For the file name, I use the wildcards option and select project information, track. This will make sure that all of my track labels get copied over properly when I render my files, making it easier for me to remember which one is which and for my mixer to remember which one is which. Again, make sure your files are in .wav format and exported at a sample rate of at least 4800 Hz. Then, all you have to do is hit render and you should be good to go. Typically, I enjoy going back to the same few mixers that I've worked with in the past, since they're more familiar with my raw vocals, their mixing fits the song I like to cover, and we're able to communicate much easier. If it is your first time commissioning a mixer, it can be pretty daunting. Like with most commissions, VGen, Fiverr, and Twitter are great places to start looking for a mixer. Sometimes, I even like to snoop around other covers that match the vibe or genre of the one I plan on doing and see who mixed those. In the past, there wasn't a lot to choose from, okay? If you plan on singing a fast-paced, EDM-style song, it'd be good to find a mixer who specializes in that genre and enjoys different effects and remixing vocals. If you're singing a ballad, it'd be good to find a mixer who enjoys mixing slower, more soft songs. Nowadays, though, most mixers in the community are very much all-rounders, but it is always good to reach out to a mixer in case they might not be comfortable taking on your commission. When you commission a mixer, you will likely see different prices for different packages that they offer. These may seem a little confusing if it's your first time, so I'll explain the common ones. Time and tune only. This means that the mixer will only time and tune your raw vocals. This is for those who have someone else to mix and master their cover. Mix and master only. This means that the mixer will not time or tune your raw vocals, but will mix and master your cover so that it's given effects chains and fine tune. This option is for those who may be familiar with timing and tuning their vocals, or are more comfortable if they or another person tunes but is not familiar with vocal mixing. Full mix. This is for those, like myself, who either do not know how to mix vocals, are too busy, or me, too lazy to learn how to do it despite covering so many songs a year. With these packages, the mixer will do everything from tuning your vocals to mixing the entire cover. Sometimes, mixers will even add add-ons, such as artificial harms. For those who don't have harm guides or have recorded harmonies to go along with their mix, you can typically add on artificial harmonies from your mixer. As I mentioned, I don't recommend getting artificial harmonies if you're doing slower songs that really focus on your vocals. It'll cause you to sound a bit robotic, and it will really be noticeable. I would only use this for very fast-paced songs, to be honest. Duo, trio, or chorus mixes. These are typically add-ons for those who are doing duets, trios, or more. These tend to be an additional cost on top of mixing fees, as the mixer will need to go back and time, tune, and add effects to additional tracks. I've already talked about how you should be rendering your vocals the most efficient way for your mixer, so make sure to go back in the video if you need a refresher. Trust me, your mixer will very much appreciate you making the work as painless as possible for them. The very last step in creating your first cover is to commission a motion graphics or MV editor. I like to think that this step also has the most variety in terms of style and budget, as editors will typically offer a few different options, such as a lyric music video, which is one scene with mostly simple typography and slight camera movement. If you're looking for a budget-friendly music video, this will be your go-to. If you want to make your lyric video a little more dynamic, you can commission someone to also puppet your artwork. Simple music videos. Occasionally, animators will offer this instead of lyric music videos. These are slightly more complex than lyric music videos, but of course less complex than semi-complex music videos. These packages typically include simple camera movement, motion graphics, singular scenes, and animated typography. If you only have one illustration, this might be a good option for you. Semi-complex music video. If this is your first cover but want to have something more dynamic, this would be a perfect middle ground option. These typically include 1 to 2 scenes, more camera movement, motion graphics, and additional animated typography. If you have multiple illustrations or multiple expressions for your character illustration, this would also be a good pick. Complex music video. Even as someone who puts out covers quite frequently, I don't tend to commission complex music videos unless I either 1, have the budget for it, 2, it's releasing for a special occasion, or 3, the song I'm covering is fast-paced and would benefit from a music video that has a lot of complex movements. Complex music videos will typically include 3+ scenes, lots of camera movement, different styles and animations of typography, effects and motion graphics, and occasionally animation or puppeting of art. If you decide to commission a complex music video, I would highly recommend getting more than one character illustration as well. Again, everyone offering commissions is different, so these different types of music videos may not apply to them. Make sure to look at everyone's TOS before commissioning. As like every step I've mentioned, the best places to find music video animators are VGen, Twitter, and Fiverr. There are many ways to edit music videos. You can either recreate a music video if it already has one. For example, my rabbit hole music video. Or you can create an original music video with inspiration from the original song. The latter is always fun to do since you're giving a little extra spice to it. When commissioning a music video, everyone always has their preferences. For myself, I really enjoy letting the music video animator have a lot of creative freedom when it comes to creating the music video. It is important to have good communication with those you commission when letting them know what your vision is or how much creative freedom you would like the animator to have, or any other artist you commission. If you have a particular vision, you could create a mood board with elements and designs that you want them to include in the music video. This would not only be helpful for the music video animator to get an idea of what you're looking for, but also helps your vision come across to the person that you're commissioning. As mentioned in the beginning of this video, I like to commission the music video editors last, mostly because they can use work in progresses of the mix or the art in order to proceed. I'll keep this section quite brief since in most cases, like I mentioned, covers are not monetizable. As a refresher, if you want to monetize a cover, you'll need to commission a custom instrumental arrangement in order to avoid copyright issues. As I said, this will not apply to YouTube uploads as you'll still get copyrighted, but this would apply to covers that you plan on uploading to music platforms such as Spotify or Apple Music. Again, you would still need to get a license through a music distributor or a third-party distributor in order to monetize your cover without any copyright strikes. Before you release your cover, you'll want to tease it a little bit. Some people enjoy dropping covers and promoting it the minute it releases, but for myself, I like to give some previews here and there and then do a premiere. My personal timeline for pre-releases of covers is that 1 to 2 days before, I'll post the thumbnail with the date and time of the premiere with a call to action and a link for a waiting room. I'll usually post this video onto different social media platforms such as Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and my community Discord server. On the day of, as the premiere starts, I will make a second post with a snippet of the cover with another call to action for people to check out the premiere of the video. I'll post this onto all of the platforms from the previous day. Make sure to also include credits in your post, your music video, and your music video description. Promoting and shoving your cover down people's throats is the most important part of marketing yourself. Just kidding. Kind of. But you should absolutely continue to promote your cover. With the difficult algorithms, there is a very big chance that there are many people who haven't seen your post. You worked super hard, so you shouldn't be afraid to promote your hard work. Either retweeting, reposting, or making new posts about reminders to listen to your cover, along with calls to action, is a great way to get people to notice. And congrats! You just released your very first cover! I know it could be a lengthy, time-consuming, budget-consuming project, but if you enjoy singing, it will all be worth it in the end. Trust me. I'm not the type to gatekeep, and I am open to any and all questions you might have regarding recording and releasing covers. While I may not be a professional expert in the subject, if there is a topic you need more clarification on, or something that I barely touched on that could use some more detail, please let me know in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to help. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my educational shorts, my future podcast where I talk about life and tips as a content creator, or come watch one of my streams. I plan to continue making more educational long-form videos like this, so make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. You can even take advantage of my Q&A section of my Patreon. And if there's any other topics you'd like me to make videos on, please do let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!